Okay, we're back. It is week 9 time, already 9 weeks into the NFL season. We are over the halfway point once the Thursday game starts. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's going by really fast, but I want to jump into these, Al. If you're ready to go, I am ready. We've got a couple of things to add this week. We're going to do the muck. We're going to describe what it is and where every team is in the muck, and then we got some true and false. So let's get right to it.
Let's do it, man. All right. Week 9, Thursday night, Texans at Jets.
Okay, well, the Jets stink. Um, Texans are without Diggs now. They're I'm sure they won't have Collins still for another week or two. So it makes me think the Jets have a chance. They're at home as well,
Yep.
but I mean, I can't pick them
Yeah.
to any degree, really. I mean, can you really trust anything they're doing?
It's a fair point.
They're a complete mess. They can't even get their plays in on time, and they're calling timeouts in the first quarter, all three of them, and in the third quarter, all three of them, early in the fourth, they got rid of the third one for the second half because they're trying to avoid these delayed games, and they're still getting delayed games.
Yeah, they're a mess. They're an absolute mess.
They're one of the most penalized teams in the league as well. And I like what I saw from Stroud last week. I think it'll be difficult though. I'm not saying this is going to be a cakewalk, just because it's in New York. I'm going to go Houston in a close one, 19-17.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on a lot of what you said. I kind of wanted to pick the Jets in this game only
Me too.
because, yeah, we're okay, okay, and my reason for that is probably similar to yours. Is that Stroud is down his weapons, and the only one left is Tank Dell, and Tank Dell hasn't had a great year, honestly. So it gave an opening there, but the reason I didn't is one because of what you said. The Jets are just awful; they're a total mess, and two is Joe Mixon. And people have been running all over this supposedly good Jets defense. So that makes me feel good enough to pick the Texans on the road, 20-16, very close to yours.
20-16. All right. Yeah. We both don't think it's going to be easy.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, this wouldn't surprise me if the Jets won. I almost picked it as my upset pick.
Yep. All right.
Okay, moving on to Sunday, 1 o'clock. Again, no London games, thank goodness. Um, and this is the return of Derek Carr, Saints at Panthers.
Okay. The Saints. Oh, the return of Derek Carr. Damn it. I actually wrote down Carolina. I was going to pick Carolina to actually win a game
Oh wow, that would have been the
because
first time I think either one of us did that all year.
they were home, and the Saints have been so bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny because I had a caveat for this car or no car. Now when I did it last night, we didn't know. Now we know. So obviously, I don't have
Yeah,
to caveat.
I can't do it. I can't pick it. Um, I'll just stick with the same score. I have New Orleans 19-13,
Okay, okay. Oh,
but I
that's
had Carolina 19-13 before with the Carr news.
that's really funny, man, because you picked the Texans 19-17 and I went 20-16. I just smushed it out by a point each, right?
Yep,
Um, Now what was your score again? 19-13.
19-13.
Yeah, my point. I'm picking the Saints 20-12. That's a weird one, man.
Would you have given any thought to Carolina if Carr wasn't back?
Yeah, I was going to caveat Carr if the Saints if they have Carr, the Saints win. If they don't have Carr, the Panthers win. So
Because
if it
we're
had been,
saying every week that Carolina is going to get a couple wins, and they
they're
got
going
to
to
come
have,
from somewhere.
and I thought that was going to happen with Dalton more, maybe,
Yep.
but yeah, they're going to have to win something. I think here and there, maybe end up with 3 wins or something like that. But yeah, no, they're just awful. And if Spencer Rattler had been playing quarterback again, I would have had no problem going with them this week. Because
Yep.
Rattler's worse than Bryce Young right now, which is
Yeah,
saying something.
I would agree.
Okay, let's move on from that guy and go. Oh, let's go to our division. Commanders at Giants.
Okay. Well, the Giants stink. That defense is okay.
Yep.
Um, they might have found a running back.
Yep.
Daniel Jones is putting up okay numbers. I mean, he's 230 to 260 every week. He's not 110 and three picks anymore.
Right.
But the Washington has just been dynamic all year. Jaden Daniels, as long as he can stay upright and stay healthy and uh, play like he just do that kind of thing. I can't see how Washington can lose this game. I got 24. I do have it 24-20. So a close one. Giants are home, and like I said, they might have found a running back. Of course, you got Neighbors. You got Jones still making bad mistakes, but not as many, and that's why I think it'll be close. But Washington is just they're kind of steamrolling. They're on a roll. I'm going 24-20 Washington.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I was a little surprised the point spread was only -3.5 for the Commanders. So there's a lot of credence to what you said. I, however, am going to give less credit to the Giants and go 31-16 Washington.
Nice. I like it.
Now, the way the Giants win this game is is Tyrone Tracy and the spotty Commanders' run defense. So if they can stay close and/or be a factor in this game, it's going to be through the run game. So
Yeah.
let's see.
Well, you got to remember they were on the. Well, here's another thing too, though. The Giants play like garbage at home.
Yeah, especially Daniel Jones.
It's up to 600 and whatever many days since he's thrown a touchdown pass in at home.
Yes, since he signed the contract, which is just incredible. It's
That
incredible,
is the craziest thing ever.
insane, insane. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Over 2 years without throwing a touchdown pass at home.
Absolutely freaking incredible. I can't. That's going to be one of the fun stories of the offseason is to see what happens with Daniel Jones. Is he going to be signed by a team that has like the Raiders that have nobody and he has a shot to win the job? Is he going to be backup for the
I
next
think
2 years?
I think someone's going to sign him as a backup.
Now, I'll give you an example of a way things like that can go. Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
Is he a guy that could come back 6 years from now as a viable guy in
Well,
a
what about Baker Mayfield?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I was just thinking. You're right, but I was just thinking Tannehill is almost the exact same kind of player. You know what I
Yep.
mean with the rushing
Yep.
ability. But no, that's good too. Baker's a perfect example of coming back after looking like he was going to flame out for sure, for sure.
And to be honest, Sam Darnold to a degree as well.
No doubt. I mean, I think we both need to see more yet, more than half a season. But yes, I mean, this is incredible. I never would have predicted this. So absolutely, Darnold's in that.
Yep.
Yep. And I always go back to Jim Plunkett. Just I'm going to throw it in there again. Number one pick by the Patriots and won a Super Bowl against my Eagles 10 years later after not doing much in between. So, okay, moving on. We have AFC East matchup Dolphins at Bills.
Well, Buffalo is kind of they're rolling. Um, yeah, they've answered all the questions we had at the beginning of the year. Now they've got Amari Cooper. He might not show up on the stat page as much, but I like what you said in the review about how he's just making everybody better. Though with him, his presence there opens up other things.
Absolutely.
So I like that, and of course you love the quarterback. And yeah, 28-20, Buffalo gets the win. I'm giving Miami 20 only because two is back, and it's his second week. Maybe get a little more settled in, and still has some of that offense come back a little bit. But I don't think they're beating Buffalo on the road.
Right on, right on. Okay. So, I'm with you in the outcome. Just getting there a little differently. I think that was a good first week back for the Dolphins. Not the outcome, but for the offense. And the way Tua kind of, he didn't have a mind blowing game or anything, but he played solidly. He got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who had been completely absent for however many weeks he was out with that concussion. right back into the game plan. Neither of them went crazy, but they were involved, which they weren't for 5 straight weeks. So I like their ability to put up points on this Bills team. I just don't like their ability to win. So I'm going to go Bills 34-27.
All right. Nice high scoring affair.
High scoring affair. AFC East. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Now, this game got a lot more interesting after last week. Chargers at Browns.
Okay. I have the Chargers winning because I got to see it from the Browns more consistently. That was a division game; those are just different. But I'm going to give them some degree credit with Jameis Winston there. I do think he'll have some turnovers in this game, which will probably be the reason why the Chargers get the win. But I have this one. I'm just going to say one thing. I think this could go into overtime.
Ooh,
I'm predicting overtime.
I like it.
And I got it 27-21. I have it 21-21 going into overtime. The Chargers get a touchdown and win it, and they don't need the extra point, obviously, and they win it 27-21.
I love it. I love it. That's a nice, very cool, specific prediction there. I like that a lot.
Yeah, figured throw it in there.
I like it. Okay, so I am with you with a lot of what you said. I do think the Jameis bump is real, although I don't know how real. I don't know if it takes him from one of the worst teams in the league to, awesome. But I think it takes him from one of the worst teams in the league to more competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, Now, what that means against a Chargers team who I still haven't figured out coming on the road, I don't know. I'm picking the Chargers, and I'm picking them 20-19. But this is my upset pick: Browns.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. That makes a lot of sense.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, this by the way, last thing I want to say about this game is this will show to me a good amount. Give me a lot more information about what the Chargers are this year.
Yes.
If they lose this game, they're I look at them very differently than if they win this game. If they win this game, they're a playoff contender. If they lose this game, they're a mid muck team.
Yes. Yep. Totally
Right.
agree.
Okay. All right. Now, my note beside this game is yuck. And that is Patriots at Titans.
Total yuck.
Not the muck, the yuck.
Okay, well, I am going to caveat.
Okay?
I'm actually going to pick New England if Drake May plays.
Ooh, I love it. Okay. Okay.
With May, I'm actually going to pick New England on the road. I know it would be an upset, but I'm taking it, and I'm going to go the same score, which we do a lot when we caveat. I got 16-12 with Drake May. New England gets the win, and if Drake May does not play, even though Brissett isn't terrible, I'm going to go Tennessee by the same score, 16-12. But this is a yuck game. I will know if Drake May plays by the stats, and that's all I'm going to look at because I'm not going to watch the game.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. No doubt about it. Yeah, okay. So it's funny because I'm going to caveat too, but my caveat is the other team's quarterback situation. I haven't heard a darn thing about Will Levis since Mason Rudolph got benched. But remember, he got benched. He didn't get benched. He got taken out because of injury. He had that AC joint sprain, and I
Yep.
keep waiting to see if they're going to put him back in when he's healthy. I haven't heard anything. So just in case they're thinking about putting him back in, I'm going to caveat if Mason Rudolph starts, I'm picking the Titans 16-12. If Will Levis starts, I'm picking the Patriots 16-12.
Oh my God! That's good. Are you kidding me?
Nope,
Wow, we did it again.
unbelievable.
Exact same score,
And
16-12.
what a weird score too to get to to get the same. That's amazing.
So Levis is New England, 16-12.
Correct.
Okay, I can't believe we picked 16-12 across the board. Even with caveats, we still
Even
picked the same
yeah,
thing.
we both caveated and both picked 16-12 all the way through. I
That's
love it.
insane.
Isn't that crazy, man? That's so funny. That's so funny.
And we always say when this happens, we do not give each other picks beforehand. We don't talk about this at all.
Never once. Never once. I love it, man. Okay.
And
Now,
that is an odd score. How the hell did we come up with 16? I
yeah,
was even thinking about it when I put it. Like 16, that's a really weird score.
that's a
But
touch.
screw it.
That's a touchdown and 3 field goals. That's how you get there. Or 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions.
Right.
Or 2 touchdowns and a safety if you want to go really rare.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I could do this all day. Let's move on.
Or, okay.
You're right. I'm still, but in my living room tonight, I'll still be saying these things to myself after midnight. uh, excuse me. Excuse me. Whew, someone went down the throat there. Sorry. So
Okay.
now this is one of the more interesting games of the week to me. Cowboys, your guys at the Falcons.
All right. I think this is the Mike McCarthy fire game.
Mm,
I said it last week, but I think on the road, even though all the Cowboys wins are on the road, I'm going to go with Atlanta because they're a better team, and Atlanta needs the game. Atlanta um, is trying to win that division.
yep.
Dallas is just flaming out. They're just a complete dumpster fire. I mean, not a dumpster fire, but they are just not. They're just not good. That's just all there is to it. They're not a good team, and I don't see them going down to Atlanta and beating a good Falcons team. And I got a 23-13 Falcons.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting, man. The Mike McCarthy watch is on for sure, and
Oh,
I
but I couldn't resist. They are my Dallas is my upset pick.
oh, right on. Well, I can see that for sure too, man. This is, it was interesting. Do you have my Falcons -2.5?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
I was surprised they weren't a bigger favorite at home.
Me too,
I
because
was,
you always get the three, which means on a neutral field they feel Dallas is better.
yeah, that's very surprising to me. I thought the Falcons would be like a 4.5. It was what I was thinking, but yeah, so that's very interesting. Um, this is a season maker for the Cowboys, a season maker breaker. If they drop they're 3-4 right now, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, if they drop to 3-5, I mean, bad
McCarthy
news.
should get fired.
I agree. Listen, I'm with you on that. I didn't like the hire. So I mean, anytime they want to fire Mike McCarthy, I can't argue with it at all. And at the way this season is going, with the expectations and blah blah blah, I mean, Jerry Jones should fire himself first, but that's never going to happen. So Mike
No,
McCarthy's the guy that's going to have to take the fall since
not
they
until
don't
he
have a
dies.
yep. Not yep, exactly. Because he's there's no GM to fire as long as Jerry owns the team. So yeah, all that being said, I think this is going to be a really interesting game to see how the Falcons play this because they have a good rush offense and a good pass offense, and the Cowboys are vulnerable. So if they decide to, I think Bijan could have his biggest game of the year, but you never know if they're going to actually let that happen. So either way, I'm going Atlanta 34-28. Big old
Okay.
offensive battle. Okay, now
All
next
right.
one. I'm sorry. Did you have something to say? I'm sorry, Craig.
No, no, no. I just said already.
Okay,
Like
cool, cool, cool.
because I write your picks down.
Dig
So
it, dig it. I just want to make sure I wasn't interrupting you. Nice. Okay, so next game, and this is a wild one as far as the point spread, given the where the two teams are. Raiders at Bengals. Bengals. I don't know if there's ever been a 3-5 team in the history of the NFL to be favored by 8.5 points over anybody. So
right. Well, they're still. I know they lost last week, and they haven't really fulfilled that that promise of the slow start and then catch fire and really be good the rest of the year. But they're still better than they were then,
I agree.
and the Raiders do stink. So I am going to go Cincinnati, and I'm actually going to go big. I think they're going to kind of make a statement. Again, I don't think it's going to amount to much, but I think they've been playing better, good enough. They are at home. I go 31-17 Bengals.
Okay, okay. All right. Now, one factor in this game, it's not going to change. I'm not going to caveat or anything because I agree with you. I think the Bengals, even though they are where they are, by the way, the Zach Stacy watches might be on too. If this team doesn't come out of this early season funk and end up 500 or better, or I know you can't be 500 anymore, 9-8 or better, I mean, you got to start wondering, right?
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to get there.
I don't either. I don't either because they're just not playing well. And on top of everything else, T. Higgins is hurt again, and we know that affects them. Um, so I don't know, man. There's no way I'm picking the Raiders on the road against almost anybody except maybe the Patriots, but
Yeah.
or the Panthers. But yeah. So I'm going Bengals, and I'm going big. After saying all that negative stuff about the Bengals, I'm going 27-12 Bengals.
Okay, we both kind of think they're just ready to make a statement.
Yeah. I just can't believe they're as bad as they've been looking. It blows my mind. And their offense should be amazing, not just decent. They can't figure out what to do with their run game.
Yep, yep.
And I said that early in the year, and I didn't expect to be so right. Honestly, I didn't think it would hurt them this much, but it really is. It's affecting them big time. Um, you got a great quarterback and two really one of the best receivers in football and another very good receiver. And I can't figure out why this offense is stalling. They put up 17 points against the Eagles. That's
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now without Higgins, we'll see. It might, still might be tough.
This could be a really ugly, like 15-12 game or something.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
All right, well, let's move to a better game here. And this is a fascinating game. This is going to tell us a lot about one of these teams, and that is the Broncos at the Ravens.
All right, the Ravens. I got them winning 27-10. I think this is a pissed off Ravens bunch that are going to take it out on Denver. Yeah, 27-10. But again, we have been underestimating Denver all year. So maybe I'm doing it again, but I believe that much in the Ravens. And last week was just unfathomable. Last week, I cannot believe they lost that game.
I can't either.
So yeah, I still believe in them. 27-10, Baltimore, and I could be proven wrong again. Like I said, we're not giving Denver enough credit. We haven't done it all year, and we should be giving them more credit. Their record says they're better than we're saying. Bo Nix is now playing a little better, but I can't go Baltimore. I can't go them over Baltimore on the road.
Yeah, I'm with you. And if you had told me at the beginning of the season we'd be talking about two 5-3 teams in the Broncos Ravens game, I would have checked you into an insane asylum.
Right.
Um, but here we are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
Denver has the same record.
yeah, they're both 5-3. That's insane. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Like that's, I mean, the fact that this Denver team has gotten to 5-3 is a real credit to Sean Payton and Bo Nix. And their defense has been very good. Pretty well. Yeah, pretty darn good. Let's say that.
Yeah, Sean
Um,
Payton's like the quarterback whisperer.
he really is. I mean, he has his issues, but coaching up quarterbacks is not one of them. I mean, he's doing a bang up job there, getting this guy ready quickly. So, all that being said, though, I'm with you. I'm taking the Ravens. They're going to be annoyed at last week. They're just a better team overall, and I'm taking them 28-20, giving a little respect to the Broncos, but not a ton.
Okay.
All right, now. Here's one of the tougher calls of the week. One of the more interesting games: Bears at Cardinals, four
Well,
o'clock.
you said it. You said it in the last pod. You said Arizona is impossible to figure out, and you're absolutely right.
They really are.
They are impossible to figure out. Um, but Chicago needs a bounce back, and is going to be close. I think um, Arizona is a Jekyll and Hyde team. We saw the good side last week, so I'm going to just kind of bank on them not playing well this week because that's what they do. And Chicago needs this. They really do. They got to get that win back from last week. Um, So I'm going to go Bears 26-21, but I don't feel great about it.
That's so funny because I thought this was what might be one game we were different because the Cardinals are. I have 1.5 points to the Cardinals in this. What do you have?
Yeah, one. I think I have one.
Okay, so we're in the same ballpark. Um, so we're both picking the underdog in this game. I'm picking the Bears too. I just think that the Bears are a pretty good team, and they got embarrassed last week. They are going to be, if they have the ability to get that post horrible thing that happened boost. This is the week for it, man. That cornerback, if his own team doesn't cut him, is going to play like his life depends on it for a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and I think Caleb Williams is going to be pissed and try and bounce back. And the Cardinals, listen, if the Cardinals win this game 40-3, I won't be any more surprised than if they lose it 40-3. So they're just weird. I don't know what to make of them. And all that being said, I'm taking the Bears 31-26.
Okay.
Tough one.
A lot of high scores coming out from you on this week.
Well, what am I trying to say? The point belt seemed to unbuckle this week in the NFL. There were some massive scores put up,
I
uh,
agree.
and I saw something about some crazy amount of overs hitting in Vegas. I forget the number. I didn't. It's a bad stat because I don't have the exact stat, but some insane amount of overs hit this week. So
Yeah. Yep.
point totals are rising
Okay.
as the cold weather is coming in.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What do we have next? Okay, let's go. I think this is the closest point spread of the week that I have, tied with one you just said, and that's the Rams at the Seahawks. Tough one to pick, this one for me.
Yeah, because Seattle's kind of you don't know what to think.
They're like the Cardinals, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah. But I love what I'm seeing with Puka and Cup back.
yeah,
And we had the Rams as a pretty decent team coming in with, when they have their full complement of weapons. We saw what happened when everybody was hurt. We
yep.
saw that they really fell down a little bit and went on some hard times. But now they're back. They looked good last week. In Seattle, I just don't know what to make of. I think they're a solid team. I've always said they're a solid team, but they've regressed a little bit in my eyes. And I know that's a tough place to play, but I'm actually going to the road team. I'm going with the Rams, and I'm going
Well,
27-20
love it.
because
Yeah, I can't.
just because of the weapons are back.
And I'm not going to argue with your logic at all. I mean, listen, we were both very high on this Rams team coming into the season, and losing those two receivers changed everything. So, and I think they're kind of back now. We'll see. All of a sudden their 29th ranked run defense looked awesome last week, just because two receivers came back. And I don't know how you make sense of that, but but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a caveat because the struggles of the Seahawks seem to be tied in a lot with the health of Mr. Metcalf. So I'm going to do a DK or no DK, as you said last week. Caveat, which I did last week also. So my caveat is if DK plays, Seattle 24-21. If DK does not play, Rams 28-20.
Okay, DK or no DK.
That is the question.
And what was the score?
24-21 if DK plays, Seattle.
Yep.
28-20 Rams if he doesn't.
Okay. All righty. I like it. I like it a lot. It makes perfect sense. I got a feeling. I think he's going to play, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything definite on it. But I think he's going. It's trending that way. I think.
It feels like it to me too. I just couldn't find anything definite either. So yeah,
Right.
hopefully for their sake he does, and because that would be a much better game if they're all at close to full strength.
Yep.
Okay, coolness. Now let's go. My team, Jaguars at Eagles. Which earlier this season I expected this to be a much tougher game than it looks like now.
Right. Right. Philadelphia hitting their stride for me.
Yeah.
Complete game, looking good defensively now. Although is Slay out?
That's a great question. He got knocked out of that game. Let me see the update because I hadn't seen anything as of last night.
I don't. The last thing I heard was I think he was just questionable. We don't know.
Yeah, let me see what I can find.
Well, anyway, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to give my score. It's 33-17 Eagles. I think Jacksonville has shown that they just can't compete with the upper echelon teams, and the Eagles have shown now that they have returned to that level. Um, Even if it was just for 1 week, but you got to love what you saw, and I think it will continue. So I'm going Philadelphia 33-17 to handle them pretty easily. And Jacksonville may keep it close the first half or whatever because Philadelphia doesn't score in the first quarter for some reason. Once again, they didn't do that. I don't understand what the hell's going on in the
Oh,
first quarter.
well, here's the funny thing about the one this week, because the rest of the season, I don't know. But the one this week, the Bengals had like a 17 play drive to open up that game. The Eagles got the ball, drove down the field, and kicked a field goal on their second drive, but didn't score in the first quarter because the Bengals drive took so long that field goal happened in the second quarter. It was their first drive of the game. So something is conspiring to keep the Eagles from scoring in the first quarter. The universe is against them.
It's weird.
It is. It is. It's a very odd stat.
All right.
So, okay.
Anything on Slay?
Yeah, so Slay is nothing definite. He's undergoing an MRI to determine status for week 9. So we'll have to wait for the MRI.
Okay. But they
Um,
should be able to handle Jacksonville without him.
I would think so. And hey, another thing that I didn't bring up on the recap of last week that I'll bring up now is, and let me say, I'm picking the Eagles 31-18 in this game, and I agree with everything you said about them coming together. And I feel really good about this team right now, which is great because the first 5-6 weeks I was like, what the heck is going on? And I forgot what I was going to say. Where was I
Oh,
going?
good.
Dang it! Dang it!
That is awesome.
I talked myself right out of my point.
Was it about Slay or the defense or how they're playing?
Oh, that was it. Thank you. You got me there. Thank you. So here's what, because of some injuries over the last few weeks, Cooper DeJean had to be put into the lineup pretty prominently the last maybe 3 weeks. And he and their other rookie cornerback have been playing very well. Very well. Cooper almost had a pick this week. He's the guy. I don't know if you saw this play where the Bengals went for it on 4th and 3 to open, I think it was to open up the second half on their first drive of the second half. They went for it on 4th and 3 from their own 40-yard line, and they threw a like not even a screen, but like a swing, like a just a wide receiver. They just pull back a couple yards. There was nobody blocking for him to Jamar Chase. And if you told me the Bengals were going to have a one-on-one, Jamar Chase needing 3 yards, I would have bet on Jamar Chase all day, every day. Cooper DeJean pummeled him and made it a -1 yard loss.
Wow.
So he's looking like a player. I'm assuming he's going to. But also, Eli Rogers is playing great. They have three really good quarterbacks playing really well right now, even if Slay's out of the game. So it doesn't bother me a ton, even though I love Slay. So that being said, it doesn't change my opinion much whether Slay plays or not. 31-18 Eagles.
Totally in agreement. Yep.
All right, man. And then maybe game of the week here. We have the last 4 o'clock game, Lions at Packers. And we don't know about Jordan Love's status. I am not caveating, by the way.
I am not either. This is the game of the week, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
One I definitely want to watch.
For sure.
Yeah, 30-24 Detroit. I have it. Um, because first of all, I wouldn't be surprised if they might be the better team regardless, even on the road. And Love his status being up in the air. I believe he'll probably try to make a go of it, but because he's banged up, especially, I'm going to give Detroit the nod. They're just rolling. I mean, they won a game. They scored 52 points last week, and their quarterback didn't throw 100 yards.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, what are we talking about here? They can't. They just find ways. So Detroit 30-24. Um, because of Love is hobbled. Even if he plays, he's obviously going to be compromised to some degree.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, I'm with you. This is this is a fascinating game. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going Lions, but I'm going just a little closer because I've been very impressed with. I think the Packers are might be better off going Malik Willis than a hobbled Jordan Love because of how well he's played so far this season. So we'll see what happens. I know, listen, if he can play, he's going to play. But
Right.
it's one of those things where if I'm a Packer fan, I'd rather see Malik Willis than a 75% Jordan Love. I'd rather see 100% Jordan Love or even a 95% Jordan Love, but I would rather see Willis than a hobbled Love. So we'll see what happens. But I am not caveating. Either way, I'm taking the Lions, and I'm going a little closer, but 26-24 Detroit.
Okay, nice close game there.
Yes, okay. Now, Sunday night. And this is a game against a 4-4 and 5-2 team, the Vikings. What is it? Let me check their record real quick here. I'm going to make sure I'm right about that. Is it 5-2 or 6-2? 5-2. Okay. So we have a 4-4 and a 5-2 team. Colts at Vikings, and I feel like we're going to know a lot more about both of these teams after this game.
That's the Sunday night game?
That's the Sunday nighter. Did I screw up?
I just have that way up on my list. Like around the Chargers Cleveland is the next game listed I have is
Nope. Sunday, November 3rd, 8:20, Colts Vikings.
okay, I'm just an idiot. Okay.
Well, no, remember there was 1 week last year where I reversed everything, so I'm still paranoid about that. So I'm just glad I got it
So I
right.
did it this week. I for some reason I always just kind of put them in order: 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock Monday night, and for some reason Indianapolis and Minnesota's in the 1 o'clocks. I don't know, but either way, this is got to be the statement game for Minnesota, right?
Yes, I agree.
Their return to being a good team, the good team that we think they still are, coming into some tough matchups. The Detroit game, of course, last week. Now they're back at home. They've got a team they could and should beat and handle. Statement game for me, 31-13 Minnesota.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, we talked about this in the other episode, but I want to just bring it up again. We have confirmed that Joe Flacco is the starter. Anthony Richardson is out. And I forgot to talk about one thing when we talked about the Colts game last week about Anthony Richardson. And this is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. Did you hear about this? Where Anthony Richardson took himself out of the game for a
Because he
snap
was tired.
because he had just run the ball twice. And Jalen Hurts has never done that. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
No one has done that.
What the hell? I mean, like that alone right there makes my what I used to think of Anthony Richardson drop by 75%.
Yeah, that's BS. That's total BS. You can't do
It's
that.
it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I don't know what the hell's going on there. I'm starting to think the reason we're not seeing Anthony Richardson improve this year is maybe a lack of work ethic in practice because how do you? I've seen too many. Philly's been littered with mobile quarterbacks for the last 25 years, starting with McNabb, a couple years of Michael Vick, Jalen Hurts, and even Carson Wentz was semi-mobile when he was something for a year or two.
Cunningham.
All the way back to Cunningham, one of the very first big mobile quarterbacks. Good call. And um, I've seen Donovan McNabb puking in a huddle during the Super Bowl, but not taking himself out of the game. I've seen quarterbacks run 10, 15. Jalen Hurts rushed for 3 touchdowns in one game and never even think about tapping out. So it's just
If
insane.
I was the coach,
Yeah.
I'd tell him, I don't care if you're tired. You're going go back out there. I
Yeah.
wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let him take himself out.
I would have either done that or I would have said, okay, you won out. You're out for the rest of the game.
Right.
One of those two, for sure.
Yep.
So, whoo, mind boggling, bro. Mind boggling. So I just wanted to bring that up because I forgot to on the recap show. Um, so, all that being said, this, I think, is going to be a really close game because the Flacco effect on the Colts is real. So I'm going to go Vikings, but I'm going to go 26-23.
Okay.
And if the Vikings lose this game, it changes my opinion of them
Then
to
it's time to reassess again.
100%.
They're
Because
the
all of a
most.
sudden,
They're the most reassessed team.
yeah,
We
they really
reassessed
are.
them from early on when we thought they weren't very good, and then we might have to reassess them again if they lose this game.
Yes, we might as well call them the Minnesota reassessments.
Yes, totally agree. Because after every game, you got to reassess.
Totally, man. And it's just so. I think you and I are struggle, and I know I'm probably a lot of NFL fans struggle with just believing in that Sam Darnold can be real. And I want it to be true. I'm rooting for this story. I just have to see a little more to believe it.
Yep,
Okay, and that leaves us with one more game, and that is the Buccaneers at the Chiefs.
right. The hapless Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, they're. I mean, they're 500, and they were still competitive this week without their top two receivers. So,
Right. I think this is going to be a typical Kansas City ho hum kind of a game, relying on their defense. They're at home. I just got very like I said, uninspiring. Just 20-7, kind of a blah. I might watch Monday Night Raw instead.
nice, nice. I love it. I am curious to see what Baker does against this Chiefs D because I love watching this guy play because he's always been ultra aggressive, but he could really just have a stinker in this one with his Baker aggressiveness minus receivers and this really good Chiefs D. I wouldn't be stunned if he threw 3 picks this week. But and also I find it interesting that the Chiefs, who you know we have slight differences of opinion on where they are and what it means, but we both agree that they're not killing the league. You know what I mean?
No, they're not.
They're a 9.5 point favorite against a 4-4 team.
Yeah. Well, they're at home.
Yes, they're at home, but that's a big damn number,
Well,
especially for a team that's not scoring that much this year. So I think the Vegas sees what I'm seeing, and that they're starting to work their way towards a better offense with old Nuke Hopkins and blah blah blah. I still don't think they're going to be awesome yet, so I'm going 27-19.
oh, yeah, kind of close.
Hey man, Baker. This Bucks team is no joke. You know.
I'm on the bandwagon of that defense now. You really opened my eyes to it last week, and yeah, I think without their top two receivers, it's going to be tough for Tampa Bay to score much. That's why I got them only with 7 points, but I could definitely see getting closer.
Yeah, man. I mean, they just they just put up 26 points against who this week? Who's that? Falcons. Who the hell did they just play? The Falcons.
No,
Falcons. They just put up 26 points against the
right, right,
Falcons.
right, right, right.
So not that the Falcons, I'm comparing them to the Chiefs, but I'm just saying they proved they could score without their top two guys, which was impressive to me. So I'm giving them a little bit of credit there. Although it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs win this, 16-0 or something weird like
Yep,
that.
totally agree. Totally agree. Nothing's
Nice.
off the table.
And that is the week, man. There we go.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to do your true and false now, or do you want to wait to the very end?
Yeah, why don't we knock them out real quick and then get into our muck discussion because that one's going to be a big one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, like I said on the other show, I was going to ask if you were the coach, would you start Joe Flacco this week? And we both agreed that was a big yes. And so apparently, so did Shane Steichen.
Right.
um, oh wait, shoot! I just opened it up for the wrong week. I was just about to ask you if Aaron Rodgers would be the Jets quarterback next season, which we did last week. Okay, that's the new version of it. Right. Okay. Aaron Rodgers will be somebody's quarterback next season.
I'm leaning towards false.
I am too. Keep going.
Well, I mean, it's not working. This experiment has failed, and he hasn't looked that great. And he's kind of an kind of ego-driven kind of guy.
No doubt.
And if he sees, that it's not working anymore, I don't see him hanging on and just being awful for a year or two when he doesn't need to.
I agree with almost everything you said, although he's such a hard guy to read.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised either if he's somebody's quarterback. But I'm leaning. You asked me one way or the other, and I'm
Yep.
just leaning that way. But I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to play.
I agree with your assessment 100%. Here's the one team I could really see it happening with, and this will tell you how badly he wants to play or not, is the Raiders.
Yep.
The Raiders are the one team I could definitely see going after him. They have nothing. Now they'll probably draft somebody this year, but that doesn't in any way stop them from signing Aaron Rodgers to play for a year. Um, so we're going to find out about how badly he wants to play football after this season
What
because,
about the Giants?
oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, I would love it. I'd love it. Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be great.
And he makes them hire Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
And sign Alan Lazard.
And Randall
oh,
Cobb, the ghost of Randall Cobb.
oh my goodness. Well, if they did make him sign Alan Lazard, at least they would have one receiver other than Neighbors over 5'8".
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny, man. That's you got me with that one. That's a good one.
I mean, because they've got a couple weapons and they got neighbors. It's got to be enticing to somebody.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, Neighbors alone is enough for any quarterback to start salivating. So I'm with you. Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. It's all going to come down to whether he wants to play because somebody will give him an opportunity. I think if he wants to.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I wasn't quite sure how to phrase this, and I think I finally settled on it. Anthony Richardson tapping out, the thing we just talked about, would keep you from starting him the rest of the season.
True.
Yep,
Screw that.
I'm 100% with you.
That kid's got to get punished for that. That's bullshit.
I am so with you, and I thought you would be with me, but I wasn't sure. So that's awesome. Yeah, I just can't. You and I have both been astonished by his ability and trying to hang on to believing in him because of that. I'm done now.
Yeah. He just burned the bridge.
Yep, I'm done. He can win his way back. He can, but I am for now. I am officially done with Anthony Richardson.
Totally agree.
Yep, and I'm gonna have to drop him on the last of my 7 teams I was hanging him onto him.
Yeah. He's not worth it.
Nope, nope. So okay,
Okay.
that's my true and false for the week.
Alrighty. Well, did we come up with the muck last year or was it this year?
I think it was this year. You might have dropped the word a couple times last year, but we didn't
I
really make
think,
it.
yeah,
Wasn't
we didn't
really
make it
a
a
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody new or whatever, we use this term the muck because there's so much parity in the league and any team could beat any team week to week and you don't know what you're going to get from most of these teams. And to not be in the muck is something, pretty remarkable one way or the other. Either you're really, really bad to not be in the muck or you're really, really good to not be in the muck. Um, and everybody else is in the muck. When I did this, I was not expecting to have as many teams out of the muck as I do on the bad end. I
Yeah.
have a lot of teams out of the muck on the bad end,
I have a decent amount as well.
but out of the muck on the good end, above the muck, I only have 2 teams.
I have a lot more. And this was you and I had a big difference of opinion on the parity thing anyway, and this is where that's going to show, I think.
All right, I have Kansas City and Detroit out of the muck on the good end.
Okay.
Go ahead. Who do you have out
Oh,
of the muck?
okay. So we're going right into it. Okay. So I have. Wait, who are your two? Kansas City and Detroit?
Yep.
Okay. I have those. I also have the Packers, Commanders, Eagles, Bills, Steelers, Ravens, and Texans.
Okay. Well, what's funny about that is besides Kansas City and Detroit, my upper muck are all the teams you said.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I love it.
My upper market is Green Bay, Buffalo, Houston, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington, and Pittsburgh. And I put a little thing in there saying another win or two in any one of those teams can be out of the muck.
I love it because in my mind, another loss or two, and I would have dropped them to the upper muck. That's awesome. That's funny because we're just looking at it just slightly tilted in a different angle of the prism. You know what I mean?
Right. But the good end of the out of the muck and the upper muck, we have the exact same teams,
So
just
that's
in a
it's
different
very interesting to me
different
because
arrangement.
there's two. I have a much bigger upper muck, or well, a very different upper muck. But there's two teams that I have in my upper muck that I'm surprised are not in yours, and that or well, no, I'm sorry, one team, and that is the Vikings.
Right. Well, they lost two in a row. Um, I know they had good competition, and they can definitely get back in. They're going to win this week. I'll definitely. I mean, the muck, the muck is constantly in motion.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
The muck can change week to week.
That's awesome. The muck is constantly in motion. Is quote of the week. That's awesome.
So they got a couple losses in a row. I almost put them in there. They are the first team in the mid muck. They win this week. I might have to reassess and put them back. But I got them in the mid muck,
Okay.
and
And
they're the
that's fair.
first
I
team.
see. I see where you're coming from with all of it. So even though we're putting them in different spots, I get where you're coming from 100%. So my full upper muck then is Vikings, and this is a team that I had to put there: Broncos, Colts, 49ers, and I put the Colts there because of the Flacco news. I had them in the mid muck. I could make a good case for putting them in the mid muck, though. Honestly, now that I'm looking at it. I have the 49ers in the upper muck because I just can't believe that there's not better than they've been. But maybe I should have put them down because of what they've done. I have the Cardinals in the upper muck. Another team you can make a case for the mid muck. Same thing with the Seahawks. Bears definitely upper muck for me. Falcons definitely upper muck. And right now I'm moving the Buccaneers down to the middle muck. I don't know why I put them in the upper muck.
Right. All right. Well, I have all those teams in the mid,
Okay,
basically.
okay. Is there anybody in
I
your
have
mid that I didn't name?
well, I'm just going to name them all off. I think
Okay, cool, cool.
there's one that you didn't name. I think I have Minnesota, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I have Denver, the Colts, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle. I have Atlanta, but they're another team. If they beat Dallas this week, they might go to the upper. I think one more win from them, they'll be back in the. They'll be in the upper, just like Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Niners in the mid muck. Listen, they are where they are, what they are, and they have not played great. They have not looked great, and they've got injuries. I've got them in the mid. They got a big win this week. Get another win. They can. They're definitely a high contender to move up back to the upper muck. But for right now, I think they're a mid. They're a mid muck team. And the other team I don't think you named, I have the Chargers in the mid muck.
That is one of another. Yeah, so I'll go through my whole mid muck now. So I moved the Bucks down there. I said that one. Then aside from that, I have the Chargers, the Bengals. Could make a good case for them in the lower muck, but I just can't accept that they're as bad as they've been. I just can't. So that's on me. But but I just can't. I can't accept it. I have the Cowboys in the mid muck, the Rams, who I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the upper muck in a couple weeks. But and then I said the Buccaneers, so that's my middle muck.
Yep. All right.
Chargers
Well,
and Rams, our Chargers especially are right on the cusp of rising.
yeah. So for me, my low muck has a team that I think will move out of there in the coming weeks, and you mentioned them, the Rams. I'm in the
Yes,
low muck just because of the record,
sure, that's understandable,
but they can definitely move up.
no doubt.
Bengals, same situation. I have them in the low muck again. Look at their record.
Yeah, no, understandable for
You
sure.
know, I don't think you can have a losing record or be that far under 500 and be in the mid. Um, I
Well, I
have
will say
my
you have a team that's 2 games over 500 in the mid, so it has to work both ways, doesn't it?
who's 2 games over 500.
Aren't the Chargers, or did I make that up? Are they
Oh, the
only?
Chargers. Yeah, they're in the mid, but um, it's more on the. I guess I kind of thought about more on the low end side. Hold on one second. Sorry about that.
No worries, and I'm wrong. The Chargers are not 2 games; they're only 1 game over 500.
Okay, so there we go.
Yep.
Um, So yeah, that's middle muck to me in that area anyway.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so then I've got Miami in the low muck, but again, this is just based on the record, and they can definitely move out of it and move to the mid muck if Tua comes back and plays well. And all the teams in the low muck are decent teams coming in that people picked for the playoffs, that people thought highly of. So they all can get back to that to some degree and move out of the low muck. But I'm going right now, coming into week 9. Rams, Bengals, Miami, and the team I haven't said yet, and that is my Dallas Cowboys, are in the low muck. They are 3-4. They are 3-4. They are under 500. Can't put them. Can't do it.
Right on. Yeah. I won't quibble, but I look at it different, but it's totally fair. Totally fair assessment. Um,
Okay.
so my lower muck has two teams. um, it had three until last night, and when the Giants lost, I put them in a different category. So Browns, I'm putting them in the lower muck because of Jameis Winston being their starting quarterback for the rest of the season, and they that big win over the Ravens. Um, and the Dolphins, who may be close to moving up, but I need to see a lot more before that happens. So that's
Yep.
my entire lower muck.
All right. Yeah, I only have 4.
Yeah, I just
You
had
have
two. I
2.
thought I'd have a lot more there.
But out of the muck, I have a lot.
Me too.
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I want you to name off your 9, and I'll tell you if they're in mine as well. How many do you have?
Eight. So I might have all. It might be all eight. Might be on yours. So here we go. Jets,
Yes. Am I lower? Am I out of the muck?
Patriots,
Out of the muck for me too.
Raiders,
Out of the muck for me too.
Titans,
Out of the muck.
Panthers,
Out of the muck.
Giants,
Out of the muck.
Saints,
Out of the muck.
Jaguars,
Out of the muck.
and who's the ninth?
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9. Did you name Tennessee?
I did.
Oh, Cleveland. Cleveland.
Okay, because that's what I thought it might be. Okay, and I understand that. They just came off winning against what I thought was the best team in the league, and have a new quarterback, so I bumped them up a little for that.
Right. And that's the only reason why I don't have Baltimore in the uh, upper. I mean, out of the muck on the good end because they're in the upper muck. But that loss is bad, and they have 3 losses this year. I don't think they can be up there with Kansas City and Detroit.
Yeah, see, I still think I'd pick Baltimore over Kansas City, so I can't have them in a lower section.
I think I did too.
Yeah, you did.
We'll have to see. But I just again I just did it as of right now.
No, I get it, and I don't mean
It's
the
in
preseason
constant motion.
predictions. I mean, I would pick them if they played tomorrow.
Right. Okay. Um. Yeah. And like I said, it's in constant motion.
Hmm,
We're not going to do this every week. We could definitely revisit it later in the year to see where we thought people were.
that would be fun. Yeah.
Um, you know, but we'll mention it on the pods as we have been. This team is quite mucky or not.
I love it. It's the best. It's one of the best things we've ever come up with, and that was all you. So, well, good on you, man. That was awesome. I love it. I love the muck.
Ugh, these teams, especially early in the year, these guys like Baltimore. Who they lose to?
Oh, there was here. I got it in a
Was there
second.
one game where we were like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, they lost to like the Raiders or something like that. Who was it? Ravens.
Yeah, and same thing with like San Francisco. What's going on? I don't know.
I'm with you, man. And this is, I think, a lot of it because we're seeing a lot better football and things are starting to make a lot more sense. I think it's that preseason thing, man. That's my opinion, anyway. It is
Yeah,
clearly affecting the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, and then all of a sudden, week 5, it started getting a little better, and week 6, 7, and 8 have been better and better and better. So,
yeah.
um,
The teams that we kind of thought are emerging,
yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, so
but
the
there's always going to be a couple surprises because Minnesota still has a very good record. So you can't, there's always going to be surprises.
no doubt, no doubt. So the Ravens have the 3 losses. We know about the Browns this week, and they lost to the Chiefs in week one. No disgrace there, 2027. And the other one was against the freaking Raiders.
Yeah, inexplicable.
Yeah. And that was at home.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird.
Well, they have two losses now on their, for this year that make no sense.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But I will say this: there's no undefeated Super Bowl champ in the history of the NFL since the Dolphins in '72, and every one of those teams that has won the Super Bowl has a loss or two like that on their record.
Yeah, I would agree.
So it's just football, in a certain sense, but exacerbated exponentially by this no preseason stuff early in the season.
Yep, totally agree.
It drives
I
me
think that
nuts.
the only teams that can, withstand that at the beginning of the year are the teams that have little change.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And Kansas City's a beacon of consistency there, coaching and personnel for the most part. So that's why they can withstand it early on. But everybody else, a lot of teams, new coaches, new schemes, new coordinator, whatever, new head coach, new running back, new
New quarterback. Well,
quarterback.
yeah, yeah, all that, man. The Eagles are a perfect example of the new coordinator thing. They were rough to start the year. Their defense was awful. All of a sudden, their defense is almost a top 10 defense. I don't know how.
Yeah,
It's wild. I don't know how it
yeah,
happened. Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts have figured each other out, and it's starting to look pretty. And it's nice to see. So yeah, there's a lot of shifting things in the beginning of seasons, like you said, all kinds of different stuff, and it can affect teams so wildly. It's fascinating. It's a real lesson in learning not to overreact early in an NFL season.
yeah. Like this week, it would be like I'm trying to look here. It would be Miami beating Buffalo. Like you can
Exactly,
see that. That's not totally crazy, but the way both teams are playing, you would never pick Miami to win that game.
100%, 100%.
Or I mean, not to pick on your Eagles, or Jacksonville beating the Eagles. It would make no sense. It would
Right,
be ridiculous, and that's the kind of shit that happens at least once a week.
totally, man, totally. Yeah, it does, absolutely. Or yeah, you could pick a number of things that you could say like that and be like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
And
I'm
this
gonna
week it was Cleveland over Baltimore.
if the Cowboys beat the Falcons this week, I'm gonna be like, "What the hell is this Dallas team?"
I, and you know what? They're my upset pick because that would be typical what they do.
Yeah, it wouldn't stun me. It
It
really
would be,
wouldn't.
everybody's down on them. Everybody is crapping on them, deservedly so. I want McCarthy fired. I'm hoping it's this week after they lose. But what you watch, and again, I probably, maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I would not be surprised in the least if Dallas wins like 31 to 10, and we're up in arms. Going, what is going on?
Yeah, and Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott combined for 175 rushing yards.
Or no, Dowdle will be back. So Dowdle gets like 130 on his own.
Yeah, well, that would imply that they would actually give him the ball over the other guys that we know are toast. And I haven't
Right.
seen any indication of that, Mike McCarthy.
Right. Right.
Remember,
I
he
agree
had the
there.
job locked up that one week, and then they gave the ball to Zeke 13 times the next week. It's just insane.
Yeah. The ghost of Dalvin Cook and the ghost of Ezekiel Elliott. They're
I mean,
shells. They're shadows of what they used to be.
2017, everyone had a party for that backfield.
Yeah,
Nowadays, who cares?
you're done. So,
It's wild. It's wild. So
well,
yeah, man. Wow, what a crazy times in the NFL.
of course, that's what they do. Okay, so that was another week down. That is our week 9 preview. We had some fun with the muck, true or false, as we do every week. Got this done a little bit in tidy fashion, about an hour. Not too bad.
Not bad.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything else to add, I'm going to sign off.
Let's do it, man. Sounds good. Looking forward to catching up with you next week.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys join us twice a week, every game, every team. That's kind of our unofficial slogan.
Damn
Until
right,
next
man.
week.
We get it to
Until
you
next
first.
week. Yes, we do. Early in the week.
That's right, man. We don't mess around.
All right, Al. Everybody listening, until next week, I will see you later.